This is Richard Fowler. I'm John Kilpatrick with Okolona Aikido, Louisville, Kentucky, USA. Now this is our third video on Ikkyo, and this one is our striking video. And so the idea of this is that when somebody grabs your wrist and you're going to do Ikkyo, there are a couple of things I really want to point out here. Now the strike we're going to do is striking the arm. The idea of this is to break the arm. So let's talk about making this as easy as possible. And I think this is the real applied version of Ikkyo. We can't practice it in class breaking people's arms. We'll run out of ukis too quickly. And the other thing is that we want to study what we do to make the person weak. And there are two things here that are really important. One is breaking his structure, and the other is the pressure point. So the way this is normally practiced, and I was watching some videos of people, normal Aikido people doing normal Aikido. And they're doing what I was taught, so I still remember what I was taught, actually. Amazing. But they're coming here and bringing this hand to their waist. And they're pushing on the arm here. So in the first place, talking about pushing on the arm, there is a nerve just above the elbow here. And when you put, now, they teach you to grab this, and I think they're trying to pinch the nerve. I'm thinking in terms of hitting the guy, so I don't practice it that way. I practice cutting the arm like I'm using my tegatana. So I'm cutting across that nerve. And to me, it was never really obvious that did anything. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't seem like much of anything, and when you're holding the guy here and trying to push him down, it's really hard to do. But I have done certain experiments I don't want to go into here that have convinced me that this nerve is really important, and it really does do something. So a lot of our Aikido training is trying to recognize when something's going on there that's more than is obvious. And so, one thing that's obvious is me just trying to drive this guy down. But when you press on this nerve, something else is happening. Now, the other thing is, when I bring his hand here and hold him, I'm giving him structure. I'm not taking his structure. Now, I see that it seems obvious that if I hold this arm here and brace it, I can hit this and break his arm. And that's one kind of logic, and I don't go around breaking people's arms, so I'm not going to argue with that logic, but it's a type of logic. The logic that I'm using is that I want to break his structure. And when I break his structure, I take the hand down here. That breaks his structure. And when I hit him breaking his structure like this, I'm going to maintain that weakens him and makes it much harder for him to hold his arm straight. That's another logic. And the proof of this, the proof that breaking his structure makes him weaker is unbendable arm. So if Richard gives me his hand here, and I try to press this down. When he does unbendable arm, the way this works, I know it's not what people tell you, but I've set up laboratory equipment and all and measured all this. I know this is what happens. That what makes this work for him is that he pushes on me in a way, or pulls on me, but he moves me in ways that break my structure, but they're really subtle, so I don't notice my structure is broken, and it makes me weak. And then I can't bend his arm. So it's not that he gets strong, it's that I get weak. So that is proof, that's I would say the purpose of unbendable arm in Aikido is to show you that breaking the person's structure makes them weak. So by breaking the person, taking this guy down and breaking his structure, makes him weak, and that will make it where it's easier to break his arm. Now I'm not saying that having a bar here, I don't know, I don't know what's better, but it's a whole different way of looking at the technique. So then if we're going to, when we do things, we lead the guy to help break his structure. And so when we do this technique, what's going to happen is he reaches, and now I'm not concerned, I could finish that to throw him, but what I'm trying to show is the strike. And so we'll go slower, so I'm moving with him, and then as this comes down and his structure breaks, I'm hitting this and breaking his arm. So that would be for him grabbing my wrist. And the other technique that you see a lot, in fact it's on your first test, on your 5th Q test in the United States Aikido Federation, and that is Shoman Uchi, and it's the same thing. So when he goes to strike, I'm reaching up here. Ideally I should reach here. I think on the other video I went more directly to his hand. Ideally I should go up here. So when he goes, let's start it over. Slow. So I'm coming here and I step back and I'm leading him in and breaking his structure and hitting his arm. Now if I finish that, if I twist a little bit, that throws him, but for right now the point is not the throw. The point is that I'm coming up, I'm hitting under here. So this is the lead, this hand is the leading hand, this hand is the arm breaking hand. Now, so you can do that. He just did more of a classical Shoman-uchi. I think in the world we live in, a Shoman-uchi is going to be like a boxer's straight punch. So it'd be like him punching right at my face here. And this will work well with that too. It wouldn't be my go-to technique, but it should work. So, there, as I'm leading just like usual, I'm leading here and taking this down. Now, there's a little bit that I have to catch here because I want to support this when I hit this. So, usually, I don't like to catch when I'm leading. But here, this is not a parry. I'm not trying to push this away. I'm moving me away. I'm stepping back out of the way of this strike. I'm pushing this down, but I'm catching it so that when I hit this, it doesn't just do that. And breaking that arm. And to get that effect, we're hitting the nerve here. We're breaking his structure. We're doing both of those things so that we weaken him. And so even if he's a lot stronger than I am, I still have a good chance of breaking it. So this is the strike for Ikkyo.